So today we'll continue our discussion with the content blocks only, and we'll explore few more content blocks. So let's move to this folder, and then here we will be creating all the blocks. So we'll click on the create button, and then we'll go to button content block. So here we are going to create one button. So let's say if you want to add one button, it could be buy now, or it could be learn more, whatever it could be. So let's say it is buy now button. Okay. So we don't need to write the HTML for it. We can just use this content block and create a button. Here we can style this. I mean, we can change the text. We can change the font size, font styling, color, and the styling for the button itself. Like we can have the blue background color or whatever it is. And then the padding, border, or we can add the link. So if somebody clicks on this particular button, they will be redirected to www.google.com. Okay. So we can put any URL. Yeah, and the corresponding HTML will automatically be generated for the button. So whatever changes that we'll make over here, they will appear over here as well. Okay. Now next one is the block settings. So the block settings will apply on the entire block. So we can have the background color on the entire block. Like, say this one. Okay, so this will look something like this. So I'll remove the background for now. Yeah, so this is how we can create the button control block. So let me just save the changes. Button. Next we have HTML content block. So here we can see that it has only two tabs, right? One is the content and another one is the block settings. So here we do not have the HTML tab, right? Because we are writing the HTML itself. So the content tab is nothing but the HTML tab. So when we are writing the HTML, it will not generate the corresponding HTML. So it doesn't make any sense. So that is why we have only two tabs. So we can write the HTML code here, or if we have the HTML file saved in our account, we can browse the file and we can upload the file here as well. So let's say file.html, I'll click on save button. So whatever the HTML code that we have written, it will basically populate over here. Okay, so if somebody is familiar with the HTML, or if we already have the HTML available with us, we can either write it or we can just browse and fetch the HTML code here in the content block. And then the similar to each and every content block, we have the block settings. We can have the background color, border, margin, padding, and so on and so forth. So let me save the changes now. Next one, let's talk about the image carousel. I think we talked about the image now, and then so image carousel is the extended version of the image content block. Here we can have multiple images in a single frame. In the same frame, we can have multiple images. So you must have seen whenever we go to any website and we have these scrolling images, we have these moving images, right? So that happens with the image carousel. So we can insert multiple images. Let me do that. So let's say our first images, let's say fall hiking preview. I'll select this one. And all the settings will remain same. We can have the alternative fixed. So I can select fall hiking. Let's say fall hiking only. Okay, we can add the link and whatever the link that we will add over here, the user will be redirected to if they click on this. Mm, okay, so let me add one more image. So now we have two different images in a single content block, and they will be scrolled. Like we have two options. Either we can have these scrolled automatically. Then in that case, what will happen every 6 seconds? They will be like the image will change. Or if you want to manually scroll, we can do that. So when we click on these navigation icons, we can move on to the next image. So we'll keep it automatic for now. And we can also change the height and width of the images, and then the same styling options that we have: border width, image padding, alignment, and these things. And then next we have the block settings. Okay, so in the block settings, we have the border, space, margin, background, and these things. So the difference between the image and the image browser is that there we can only have a single image, but here we can have the multiple images in the same film. So if you want to show, you must have seen whenever we browse, whenever we go to any product page in any e-commerce website. So we have a couple of images in the single frame. So if you are talking about a smartphone, so it has a front image, back image, side images, and all these images, right? So we generally, encounter image browser in our day-to-day life. So let me see the changes now. Let's image browser. Next, let's talk about the code snippet. Okay, so here we have only just one block, I mean one tab that is content. We do not have the uh, like block settings, or we cannot style the block, and also we don't have the HTML. So what we do, we write the HTML over here, and generally basically the code snippet block was created to write the code over here. Now we have other programming languages like HTML, CSS, and these things. So what we can do, we have AMP script, SSJS in these languages. So we can write these languages over here. Now, what is the benefit of choosing code snippet over HTML content block is that it doesn't take the extra space. Since we do not have any styling option over here, generally it is used to run the code in the backend. So if you want to display something on the UI on the email message, then we will go ahead with the HTML content block. Otherwise, we'll go ahead with the code snippet if we have a requirement where we don't want to show anything on the UI on the email message, but we want this code to be executed in the backend. So whenever the email message is loaded, we want some code to be executed in the backend. Maybe it could be capturing some information and storing that in a data extension. We will learn about the AMP script and SSJS. So there could be any CRUD operation that we want to perform in the backend. So whenever we want to run something in the backend, but we don't want to take the space on the UI, or we don't want to take the space on the email message, then we'll go ahead with the code snippet. So then we'll learn about the AMP script. Then I'll cover this thing. I'll show you how we can write the code over here. Let's talk about the A/B test now. So when we were discussing about the A/B test email sent, then start screen, we have six different types of the test type, right? One was the email subject line, pre-headers, prom name, and there was one test type that was content type, right? Or content area, sorry. So let me go to A/B test. In content area test type, what happens is that we have to choose one email, but we should have two different content blocks. And at the end of the day, what will happen? The marketing cloud will send two different versions to two separate audiences. Now, to the version A will contain the content block, I mean the content block A, and the another version will contain the content block B. So let me show you how this done. So let's say we have one email message, and in that email message, we are confused with two different content blocks. Should I go ahead with this content block or the another content block? It could be, two different text blocks. So in the first text content block, we have different content, or maybe in another text block, we have different content. So maybe we are just talking about the description of the product, and in another text block, we are talking about the features. Okay, and in another we are just talking about giving the description, okay, this product is that and something like this. So we are not sure that, okay, which content block we should go ahead with. So what we'll do, we'll choose the content area over here, and we'll click on the choose email, but we don't have an email where. Okay, so it says no data found. Why? Because we don't have an email in which this A/B test content block is configured. Okay, so let me show you real quick. Um, so we have this email, right? HTML email, but okay, let me do one thing. So I'll show you all these email, like how do we create the email message in a while. For now, I just wanted to show you that how this thing works. So let me choose one email message. So let's say we will be writing some text over. So let's say we have this email message, and what we want to do, that we want to test that which content block should we go ahead with. So since this email message does not contain the content block of AB type, right? Um, Let me just save this. So we have this content block. So we have this A/B test content block. So now we do not have this A/B test content block in this particular email. So we cannot choose this email here in A/B test, right? So what we need to do is that let me edit this. So first of all, we have to configure. So I'll drag and drop one A/B test content block. So either we can create it from here, or we can create it from there as well. So I'll click on browse button, and I need to select two different content blocks. So the content A would be, let's say, this text content block, or so just for the sake of the demo, what I'm doing is that I'm selecting any other content block, let's say HTML content block. Now we have two content in the single email message, the content A and content B, right? But both the content will not be shared with the, or will be like both the content will not be included in the single email message. So what will happen? Let me save the changes over here. Let me go over here. Yeah. Now we have this email message, A/B test content demo. Let me select this. And now what it is saying is that it has created two different versions of the same email message. The version A contains the content area A, and the version B contains the content area B. Now when we'll move on to the next step, that is recipients, and we will choose the test audience. So let's say we have 100 subscribers. So, and we select that, okay, 50 subscribers should receive the email with content A, and 50 subscribers should receive the email with content area B. And based on the engagement ratio, like which email gives us the more open rate and the click rate, we will go ahead with that particular content area. So this is how we can use this A/B test content block. So if you want to use that, if you want to test two different content areas using the A/B testing method, then we can create the content block from here, and then we can include that in the email message.